Hi everyone, this is Micaiah Costin with the Athletes section. Today we have a special guest who plays baseball for Texas A&M, and I'll let him introduce himself.
What's going on, guys? I am Terrence Kiel II, and I'm excited to be on this podcast. So let's get it rolling.
Let's do it. Terrence is an Atlanta, Georgia native and a freshman at Texas A&M. He graduated from Pace Academy, playing both baseball and football, and received scholarships from both sports, performing very well. So that's very exciting.
Thank you.
So I actually interviewed Terrence last year around this time when I interned under Georgia High School Football Daily. Shout out to them. Reach out to Todd Holcomb. He'll hook you up. But it was really fun. I was able to talk to a lot of high school football players and just do like a 4-question interview segment with multiple ones that he gave me, and just kind of like ask them 4 questions that I thought were important and I could tell their story. And so with that, Terrence was one of the people that I reached out to and was able to kind of get a little glimpse of his story, and that's still on a website and on the AJC website. But I reached out to him again when I started this podcast to kind of like, we can go a little bit more into depth with it. And also it's just fun to be on a podcast telling your story and talking. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool. So here we are.
Let's go. Ready.
So I like to start off most people with their beginning. So you are a multifaceted athlete, and you did football and baseball. Kind of tell me how that came about, how that started off with each one, and then how that kind of led to where you are now.
Yeah, so at the age of 4, I was really energetic, and I was a little bad kid running around the house, and my mom had to put me in some type of extracurricular sport activity. And so took me to the ballpark one day, and that's when I started playing baseball. And then we tried out football because I come from an athletic family history with my dad. He played here at Texas A&M for 4 years and got drafted to the San Diego Chargers at the time. And so I started playing baseball and football at the age of 4 at a really young age. And at the time, I fell in love with both sports. And as I got older, I started to realize that my talent was pretty good. And so throughout elementary school, I played rec, baseball, and football. Through middle school, played football and baseball. Through high school, played football and baseball. And now I'm in college, and I chose one sport, which is baseball. The deciding factor was just longevity of it. I'm still deciding if I do want to play football here, but fell in love with baseball and really saw my talent really take off at a very young age. And so came about with baseball, and here I am playing baseball at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I love that. And you mentioned, I remember in the last interview, you mentioned that you were thinking about doing baseball your freshman year, maybe football your sophomore year. Is that still something that's possible for you right now, or something that's still like kind of spinning in your mind, or how's that working out?
Yeah, sitting in the stands during the football games is definitely have been taking a toll on me. But I'm here, and it's really, well, what I say is I'm still thinking about football in the back of my mind, but I'm here to play baseball, and that's what's ahead of me right now. And so I've just been getting better, perfecting my craft. And just really getting used to the college life. It was definitely a big adjustment compared to high school. I mean, you have workouts in the morning, and then you have class during the day, and then you have these 3-hour practices, which isn't that bad at all, honestly. But I mean, it's not high school. This is in college, and playing in the most competitive conference, which is the SEC, which is A&M is in. It's just getting me prepared to play the best of the best, and I'm really excited. But to answer your question, I have still been thinking about playing football. There is still a little bit of consideration, but I'm really focused on baseball right now. So
Yeah, that's fair. And I want to get into that too, which we will, about the college dynamic and aspect, and also like keeping your focus on one sport while also being a multifaceted athlete. So we will definitely get into that, because I think that's so interesting, especially when you're currently considering playing both sports. Be like, I remember you mentioned Deion Sanders as someone you looked up to with that. So we definitely will get into that. So tell me a little bit more about your family dynamic. I'm sorry, I know your dad passed in 2008 with a car crash, and you kind of take after him going to Texas A&M, and so your legacy. Tell me a little bit about your whole family dynamic, do you have any siblings, and how sports plays a part in all of y'all's lives growing up to now, but then also the legacy that you're under and what it means to you to be an Aggie.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm the only child,
Okay, nice.
and so my dad and my uncle played at A&M back in 1999, around that time, 1999 to 2002. They played at A&M, and I wasn't even born yet, so
Right.
I was still in my mom's stomach. And when I did get older and I realized having more knowledge about like college and NFL and stuff like that, I heard stories about my dad and my uncle playing football at Texas A&M. I heard he left a legacy at his high school, being one of the best safeties coming out of Lufkin High School, which is about an hour and a half from College Station, so right down the road. It's not that far.
Hmm.
And being one of the best safeties to come out of Texas A&M, and even getting drafted was a big goal for him, and I'm sure that was one of his biggest goals to achieve. And me learning more about him, I just wanted to leave a legacy here at Texas A&M, whether it was me playing football or baseball. And so, at a young age, I've always been a Aggie fan. I was an Aggie baby, born into the culture. So, if you asked me when I was about 15 years old, people had their college fan team. Mine has always been Texas A&M. And so when I got older, dealing with legacy, I've always wanted to continue that. And whichever sport that would have been in, I made sure I would continue that legacy. And I got my baseball offer my sophomore year, and I felt like that was the last piece of the puzzle to, me carrying on my dad's legacy. And I ended up committing about my going into my junior year is when I committed to Texas
Hmm.
A&M, and it was honestly a surreal feeling. I mean, I was excited. My family was excited. I know my dad would be proud of me that
For
I'm
sure.
here now, following that legacy, but in baseball, and with there still being a possibility that I could play football and do what he did. And so I'm just taking it all in, and I'm just excited to be here. And it's really been a great time so far, and I'm expecting to have, a lot more moments here.
Yeah,
So
for sure. That's really great. That's a really nice, optimistic way of looking at it, and it definitely is possible. So that's a really good outlook on it. Um, Tell me a little bit about the campus experience, the life from transitioning from Atlanta to Texas. How was that
mhm.
transition? I'm also in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, so I thought that was pretty interesting. um, but what was that transition like? And tell me a little bit about how you've been adapting on campus.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. There are a total of probably, I can't even think, around like 70,000 kids that go here, and this is a big campus.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably haven't even seen half of the kids that go here. And like me adapting to the campus was, I'd say it was fairly, you know, I got pretty comfortable as time went on. I came here around July 1st because they made the baseball players have summer school or whatever. And so that kind of gave you a way to get used to the campus and how your schedule will look like in the fall and during the spring when baseball season picks up, and you have to start traveling and playing games, but also, trying to get your work done on the outside too. And so the transition has fairly been smooth. Like I said, I have workouts in the morning around 7 a.m. I go to class at 8 a.m. and then I arrive at the facility around 12:30, and that's when I start my routine with baseball. And so um, that looks a little like getting ready to hit on field and then just getting better defensively, and whether that's being in the outfield or being at second base. But like I said, my transition has been really smooth, and each day I'm getting more used to it. So yeah, it's fun to be a college student. for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really nice, yeah, a really nice transition for sure from high school to college and just having a little bit more freedom, but then also flexibility when it comes to classes and extracurriculars, especially in sports. Like you're able to kind of manage your time a little bit wiser and like learn it on your own. Because it's one thing to be at home, your mom telling you, okay, you have practice, you need to get your stuff ready. But then
Hmm.
it's different when you're on your own. You have to do your own laundry. You have to get your own food and like take yourself to practice.
Yep.
You have to learn that self discipline and everything to kind of like push forward. So that's really neat. Um, how did you learn that self discipline? Was it already instilled in you going into college, or was it something that you had to kind of work on?
Yeah, so during my senior and junior year of high school, my mom traveled for work sometimes. So I started off, really early, having to wake myself up in the morning and make sure I got to class during high school or practice and not missing a workout, even like in the morning. So I was able to start that pretty early. And as time went on and when she wasn't there, I got used to it. And like there's a sense of self responsibility. Like it's on me if I make it to class, make it to practice, and thank God I didn't like miss any practices or workouts during high school. So with that transition here to college now, like I said, it was pretty smooth, and I'm able to wake up in the morning, go to workouts, wash my clothes, um, make sure I'm feeding myself right because it depends like what type of player you are, but you can put yourself on like a eating plan, and I'd say that I've been doing pretty well with that. So with her like being gone during she was there like most of the time, but when she wasn't there, I'd say I was able to adapt pretty early with time management and being organized, whether that was with homework or practice, and even with recovery. I mean, recovery is pretty important. You may be nicked up like bruised or arm sore, leg sore, because you also have those workouts which get you pretty sore, and then having to practice on top of that can take a toll on your body. So just being really organized was a big thing for me with the transition to college, and starting that pretty early in high school was really helpful. So
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
that's good. That's really good. It's a really pro to it, a really good positive aspect to it, especially if you already have that instilled and you're just kind of just moving over to a new spectrum, but already still take your training with you. It's definitely beneficial for you in the long run. So
Yeah.
are you able to meet a lot of people, a lot of like friends and classmates outside of your teammates as well on campus, or do you go to games or have bonding? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, so with the athletes, we have this nutrition center that was built recently. I mean, it opened up in September, and you always see all the other sport players like soccer, volleyball, softball, and even like the football players too,
Mhm.
and like swimming and diving and sports like that. And so you see them almost every day because we eat breakfast there, we eat lunch at the nutrition center, and we eat dinner. And that's just like a good time to meet new people. And we see other people like outside of like the athletic department. We at the football games and even at the tailgates when you meet your donors and people like that. That is a good way to make new connections with people outside of the athletic aspect. And I've met a lot of people and made friends with people outside of athletic. So yeah, it's a during the football game days, that is a good time to go out and meet new people.
Yeah,
And so, but with the athletic people that you see like every single day, like we always talk to them, say what's up, have conversations at dinner or lunch, and it's just a good way to meet new people and just have conversations with people. And I think that's what's like so good. Like the culture here, it's so welcoming that you may not see this person ever again because the campus is so big,
mhm.
and like being talkative and having those conversations with people is like really important. So and building those new connections is really important here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like having your own community is definitely important, especially going in as a freshman or a transfer or whatever. It's just nice to have that community surrounding you and people you can just go to for any occasion or any given time. So it definitely enhances your college experience. So I agree.
Yeah.
So going a little bit back to baseball, I wonder, and I think we talked about this in the last interview when it came to like transferable skills between both sports. You were a wide receiver and cornerback for football, and then was shortstop, and did really well in your hitting in baseball. How do you think those skills kind of transfer with each other and kind of like help the other build upon in a way?
Yeah. So when I play football, wide receiver and DB, you got to have good hand-eye coordination. And when I transfer those skills into baseball, when I'm hitting, I mean, you also got to have good hand-eye coordination. Even with focusing on what pitch is coming and making a split-second decision on whether you want to swing or not. And even when I'm in the outfield, my ability to track down baseballs is just like me when I played football at wide receiver. What route am I going to take to get to this ball? How fast do I need to run to get to the ball? Like, do I need to slow down? Like, all those things, aspects play into baseball too. And so, like I said, when I'm in center field, it depends on my route that I need to take to the ball, how fast I need to run to get there. Do I have enough space to catch the ball? Because I know there's a fence. But in football, there's also a white line, which is out of bounds, like space awareness. Like,
Yeah.
those skills are pretty transferable, and I've been keeping up with those um, since my transition to only playing baseball, because it's been different. I mean, if I was still in high school, I'd be playing football right now.
Right.
But now that I get to focus my time on one sport, has been pretty cool, and just doing baseball year round now is even awesome. So having those skills transfer from football to baseball also help. I mean, even when I'm hitting my speed, I'm a pretty fast guy,
I've seen
and
that.
that helps. Yeah, that helps from speed and agility. Like having those training on my off time and transferring that to baseball also helps. So, and then just me just getting stronger, like trying to hit the ball further, making contact, like all those things are really important, and they go into baseball. So transferring those skills really help a lot, and they help me improve as a baseball player and just get better to reach my full potential.
Yeah, agreed. I can definitely see that. Because you mentioned speed and agility, and when I like looked you up to like prepare my questions and also just kind of like get a little bit more background information on you, your coaches mentioned like, oh, he has great speed, he has great hitting, great agility. How do you train? Is it a little bit different when you're training for speed for baseball, running the bases, and getting to the ball, and speed for running routes and things like that at football? Or is it kind of the same? Is it the same type of training level when it comes to speed and agility?
Yeah, it's the training level. I mean, it's pretty similar. You're running pretty fast in both sports. So with baseball, I mean, being in the center field, you're running most of the time. So tracking down balls, and even in football, being that wide receiver, working on running your routes and stuff like that. So how I trained for my speed was I would go to this place called DSA, and they work on speed and agility. And my trainer was Lily. And with baseball, you work on running the 60, but with football, you work on running the 40. So, I
Mhm.
mean, that's a 20-yard difference.
Yeah.
And so we made sure that I'd have quick acceleration, and while also having quick acceleration, just maintaining my top speed for about 40 more yards or so after coming out of that acceleration. So yeah, I would say my speed is my biggest asset on the baseball field, and that could be a big deal breaker. Last week I hit a shot to shortstop, and I was able to beat it out because I'm so fast getting down the
There you
line,
go.
and it speeds up the defender, and that causes them to dysfunction or make a bad throw, and Yeah, so that's why I say my speed is one of my biggest assets. But yeah, training wise, you could say it's pretty similar in both sports for sure.
Okay, nice. We talked about, you mentioned your assets and just kind of, training for both and the transferable skills for both. What lessons have you learned when transitioning between both sports or just playing both sports in general? What are some key lessons you kind of kept in mind and learned that you probably wouldn't have learned if you only played only one out of two of those sports?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the biggest lesson is definitely recovery.
Mm.
Like, your body is going to need rest. Like, the days are going to add up. The weather is pretty hot out here. Like,
Yeah.
that rest time that you have after practice is really important. I mean, I come home and I take about a 2 hour nap and then I'd go eat dinner.
Mm.
And even with football, I mean, you're getting hit every Friday night. And I mean, you're getting hit every play almost.
Right.
And having that recovery the next day is really important, which can avoid leading to big time injuries. And we have at our facility a hot tub and a cold tub. And after practice, after a hot practice, I may be like a little bit tired. So I'd go in the cold tub and just let my body reset. And the cold tub I found really helpful. I mean, the next day my body feels really good, and I felt like I didn't do anything the previous day, but I had a 2 hour, 3 hour practice, and I'd say recovery is the biggest thing. And another thing that I learned too with transitioning from high school to college is like slow the game down. It's gonna get sped up. I mean, I'm in a big fan base. Like the Aggie fans here love baseball, and so it's gonna get really loud in the stadium, and you just gotta sometimes take a deep breath and just be calm and play the game baseball how you know how to play it. And so those are two really important things that I've learned since being here. Recovery, it's important, and slowing the game down too in a really loud environment.
Wow, those are really good lessons to learn, especially like you said, with a fan base that's very excited for you guys, and you're like, yeah, that's great, I want to feel that energy, but it's like also making sure you don't feel it too much where it just makes you like go out of control and have this anxiety.
Yeah.
But that's a really good lesson to learn, especially early on. You mentioned,
correct.
yeah, and you mentioned that you finished fall ball, right?
Correct, yeah.
What are some things, or how did you enjoy it, first off? Because, it's your first fall ball in college. How did you enjoy that? But then also, like, what are some things that you see you want to work on going into spring season?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Normally I'd start baseball in the spring, but now I'm starting it here in the fall. And for my first year, my experience was honestly really good. I mean, I've already made adjustments like with my swing, and then on the outside, just getting better defensively. I'm a center fielder, and my coach is making me a second baseman, and I could play all around the field, but I'm pretty familiar with second base, and so doing second base and also working on outfield has been pretty smooth, and I found success at second base and in the outfield. So just being utilized and being able to play multiple positions is very important, just in case like somebody goes down with an injury.
Right.
You're the next man up and you're there to step up. But yeah, like I said, some improvements on my swing. We have some really good coaches, Coach Early and Coach Longley, who are, in my opinion, one of the best hitting coaches. Saw an adjustment that I needed to make early in the fall season, and I made that adjustment, and I've been seeing success since then. Whether that's during my routine hitting in the cages, live ABs against my teammates, and even in the two fall exhibition games that we had, I've been seeing really good success. And I'm still trying to get faster. I'm still trying to find a way. So I always have room to improve there. So offensively and defensively, I've been improving really well, and I've had a great fall season. So
That's amazing to hear. And really great to hear that you still have goals, even though you're succeeding and even though, you've adapted pretty well and have showcased your ability. And it's great you're an all around player. That's definitely important. like you said, if anybody goes down or whatever happens, if the coach decides to put you in real quick, you have to think quick, on your toes. So that's
Mm-hmm.
good. But it's also good that you still have goals, moving forward. Cause it's like, kind of like life. We never just arrive somewhere and think, okay, that's it. I don't have to learn anything else. Like, no, like as
Right.
you climb the ranks and as you go to another level, there's more responsibility and more things to learn. So it's like
Right.
keeping on, like making goals and planning for the future, but also enjoying the season that you're in now. So
Yeah, that's what I've learned. You still got a lot to improve on, and I'm still improving on a lot of things, so which is a good thing.
yeah,
So I'm enjoying getting those lessons and getting taught new things and just taking advice from the older guys, which also helps because they've been here for about 3 years now, and they're about to go to the MLB draft next year after this season. So just taking advice from those guys also helps, and listening to their experiences and how they handle difficult situations,
right.
and even when they succeed. I mean, how do you get to that point, and what did you do to prepare and get there?
Yeah.
So yeah, taking advice from those older guys is really helpful.
Yeah, it's definitely essential to take wisdom and advice from people who've been in your shoes before. And you already seeing that, okay, they're doing great things. Let me see what they're doing, the steps they took. Even though my path might look a little bit different, I can kind of see and like relate it to myself in a way. So that's very smart for sure.
Yeah.
Are you also, I know you mentioned that you wanted to go to the MLB and get drafted. Last year when we talked, is that still a plan of yours?
Yeah, still a plan.
Nice.
So when you choose baseball and you go to college and at a pretty good like school like Texas A&M, you have to do 3 years. So I'm in my first year, and I'll be out of here in 2 more years. But
Yeah.
that's for time to come. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I will say those 2 years will fly by so quick.
yeah, we're almost. I got 3 more weeks left in my first semester,
That's
and so
crazy.
it is crazy. It's been flying by. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're continuously working, the days go by, and you don't even realize.
Yeah.
So we're almost at Thanksgiving break, and then I come back, do a week of exams, and I have Christmas break. The next thing you know, the season starts up in the spring in February. So it's coming really quick,
It is.
really quick.
It is. That's why it's very important to like enjoy every moment and learn in every moment because it will fly. I feel like the older I get, the quicker time flies by, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to slow down a little bit. But that's, and I can only imagine as an athlete like how quick it's flying by with everything. So
Yeah, it's going by real quick. And I was even shocked. I'm like, my mentor, she said that I only have 3 more weeks of school left. I'm like, 3 more weeks?
like, oh, just three.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
feel like I've been here for about a month or two. Like,
yeah,
we're already almost done?
I know.
Dang.
I always,
But yeah, it is by.
yeah, I always got a little bit of anxiety every time the professor would bring it up. I'm like, oh, like, don't bring this up.
Yeah, now I got to start studying for
Exactly.
final exams and stuff like that. So I'm like,
Exactly.
all right, that's another thing.
Yeah, for sure. So would you consider yourself to be a baseball player who plays football or a football player who plays baseball? I mean, I know that now you are putting your main focus on baseball, but I guess what would you have considered yourself before college, and what do you kind of see yourself going into in the future?
Yeah, before college, I was definitely a football player that played baseball.
Mm,
I always felt like football was my main sport, and that's the first sport I started playing. And then I picked up baseball and also started playing it. But then I had my love for football, but then I found more love for baseball. And I found that I wanted to get better at it and that I wanted that to be my future. And so now I could say I'm a baseball player that can also play football. But
yeah.
before I was a football player that played baseball. So yeah, it's a change now.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice to. It's like things change as we go along, and it's never a thing that's like, oh my gosh, I thought I knew, but now I don't. But it's like, no, it's just as the season changes, sometimes our mental can kind of change, and just different what's the word? Circumstances can change. So that's nice. That's a nice switch, but also a smooth switch. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty smooth. Yeah.
What are some things you do outside of playing sports and training and studying and being a student, amongst other things? Things you like to do to kind of keep your mental, and also stay focused and disciplined along the way.
Yeah, I attend a bunch of 12th Man Foundation events, and here the 12th Man is pretty big. That's what our culture is represented by. And some different events I've been to is having some of the baseball players talk in front of a crowd and share their experiences. Or, I mean, last month I went to the football field and painted the end zone with a bunch of other kids that attend Texas A&M. So I think that's pretty cool to do.
Yeah, I did.
I play the game with my friends. We'll be playing NCAA or Fortnite or Call of Duty.
Nice.
A couple other things that I do is fly my airplane simulator on my game. I think I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I also want to be a pilot in the future too. And so I've been flying my plane on my Xbox.
Wow, that's kind of cool. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, I want to touch on that. I know we're getting close to time, so I'm not gonna, but I want to touch on that. So what brought this interest in being a pilot, and like, have you taken classes or anything already?
So I haven't taken classes yet, but originally I wanted my major to be aerospace engineering, but I knew it'd be pretty difficult if I was trying to play both sports here. And so I changed my major to sport management. But as a kid, when me and my mom traveled a lot, we were always in a plane, and I got really fascinated with planes as I got older. And so I started to look more into it, started flying my own plane on the game, and in the future I want to work on getting my pilot license. So and once I'm done with sports, hopefully I can be flying for Delta. So
hey, there we go. And if you start
so I got really fascinated.
Exactly. That'd be really cool. Wow. I think it will definitely happen. The more you're putting time into it, and I can already see that you're very disciplined and focused in your studies as well as your sports. So I feel like with that added to it as a goal, you will definitely work towards it and get there very soon.
Yeah.
So last question, now that we are getting close to time. This is the question that I ask all the athletes at the end. But what is one key piece of advice you would like to give someone who's walked or is walking in your shoes right now as an athlete?
Just enjoy every moment. I mean, I was able to start our second fall exhibition game in center field, and it was a surreal moment because there was about 6,000, 7,000 fans there. You got the train in the back of the field that always goes by from time to time, and just being in the moment, just like enjoy every single moment of it.
Yeah.
Like this is my first fall season as a freshman, and getting that start was pretty cool, and I was up for the challenge. I was prepared. I was able to go out there, do well, while also cheering on my teammates, and we won the game 13-1. So whenever you get your opportunity, my advice is to take full advantage of it, because you don't know if you're going to experience those moments ever again. And when your time comes, just be prepared. So that's my advice to anybody out there.
I like that. Exactly. Like, tomorrow's not promised. So enjoy today, enjoy the opportunities that you're able to get, and then make every opportunity count. You don't just take opportunities like, well, okay, I'll do better next time. I'll just let this one pass. Like, you just never know. There might not be a next time. So that's
live in the present.
Right. Exactly. Like, definitely plan for your future, but make sure you're doing all you can right now and this point in time for your future that can, translate for the future. So I like that. I forgot, I actually visited Texas A&M earlier this year. My siblings ran track. They had a junior Olympics at the Hill.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like saw the area a little bit, and it's a nice area, a nice little college town. It was hot.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. So I can tell you're definitely like enjoying your time there and will continue to enjoy your time there. So that's really
Yeah.
great. Where can the people find you on social media?
You can follow me on, first we'll start off with Twitter at Terrence Kiel Jr. 1. Also on Instagram, Terrence Kiel Jr. And you can find me on TikTok doing dances too at Terrence.Kiel5.
Nice,
Yeah, I do a little bit of TikToking from now and then, but yeah, those are my social media handles.
nice. Well, thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed this conversation. That time,
Yeah, thank you for having me.
of
I enjoyed
course.
it too.
Yeah, that was really nice. That time is always flies by. So it was really a fun conversation.
It does.
But thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.